So I got to talk about this because it is something, I think. I don't think it's totally nothing, but I also don't think it's the biggest, most amazing, most, hit the panic alarm thing. Tiger spring training. All right. Next week is opening week or opening day. I guess opening week. Opening day next week. Jace Young, who was one of the prospects that was brought up last year in that playoff run, he had some pretty clutch hits at certain points, but overall he struggled in the major league level. He has been sent down to AAA. He struggled in spring. He never really could get it going. So they sent him down to AAA. Makes total sense. Here's where things get weird. Javi Baez, whom I have talked about on this show many a times, they have him playing third base every so often. And by every so often, I mean they've tried it multiple times. Spencer Torkelson, just a couple of days ago, was playing the outfield. Actually, not even just a couple of days. Yesterday, he was playing in the outfield. Spencer Torkelson hadn't played in the outfield since he was in college. And here's my thing, okay? I think it's possible that this offense could surprise some people. I think it's possible. Spencer Torkelson's had a really good spring. If he can translate that success in spring to success in the regular season, he could surprise some people. Colt Keith, I think, has had a really quietly great spring training as well. I think he could really step up and become that, pop first baseman infielder that you're looking for. There's a reason they extended him as soon as he was called up. Riley Green's already an all-star. Like you got some pieces there. Here's my thing. At a certain point, you do have to field something of a competent defense, right? I mean, look, do I really think that you're going to have games where Spencer Torkelson is starting in right field? No. And maybe this is just I'm just trying to be, I'm just trying to ignore it, or I'm trying to deny it. There's just no way that a professional baseball team would put their former number one overall pick, a player who has struggled in the major leagues, who has struggled with his identity, who has struggled with his bat, who just needs to get things right. There is no chance, I think, that an organization would put that guy in a position to fail defensively. Now, here's the thing. There's basically two wolves inside of me, all right? Wolf number one says, this is absurd. We should have done more to get more bats on the offseason. We have nobody on defense. We got no good defenders. We're putting Javi Baez at third. Like, we've only lost two guys in spring training due to injury. Not necessarily that they're going to be out long term, but like even if they were, how could we say two guys in the entire roster construction just doesn't seem to make any sense? Everything's imploding. How are we going to play defense? What do we do? And then the other wolf comes in and he says this. Defense doesn't matter. Defense doesn't matter. And both of these wolves, I think, have a point. Let me explain something. If you have a first baseman who can hit like Pete Alonso, who can just destroy the baseball, hit over 300, who can hit like Aaron Judge, 200 WRC plus, elite player, MVP caliber player. Do you care how well he plays defense? No, you don't. Like, let's just be honest, okay? You know what people don't say about Aaron Judge? He doesn't play good defense. You know why? Because nobody cares how he could be the worst defender. He could be Helen Keller out there. He's hitting 200 200 WRC plus. He's got a billion OPS. I don't care what his defensive runs saved. Nobody cares, really. Now, do we have Aaron Judge? No, probably not. Unless Riley Green really takes off and he's a 310, 1,000 OPS hitter, and he just becomes one of the superstar outfielders in the league right now. Like he starts to move towards that Aaron Judge level in the outfield. We don't really have that player. And deliberately, in some sense, we didn't really go after that player. We didn't get Anthony Santander. We didn't get Alex Bregman. We didn't get Christian Walker. There's still guys that you can go out and get for. And look, I already mentioned it on the show. Vladimir Guerrero and the Blue Jays, it's a weird relationship. Maybe you're going to have to wait until the trade deadline, but he should definitely be a guy you think about to fill in that hole at third base. Because as much as I like Matt Vierling, as much as I think he can be a valuable player and he's a solid bat, I'll take Vladimir Guerrero over Matt Vierling every day. I don't care. I don't care that Matt Vierling can play the outfield as well. Give me Vladimir Guerrero. I'll put Vladimir Guerrero in the outfield because I don't care. I don't care how he plays defense. Have a good pitcher. Make it so that Vladimir Guerrero never has to see the baseball. I don't care. He's like a 300 hitter entering his prime. It doesn't matter. All right. Now, do I think we're actually going to do that? I don't know. Probably not. Realistically, probably not. Because you don't make those kind of big moves. And Scott Harris has not shown that he makes those big moves. But my whole thing in sort of getting into this is like, we get 2 injuries. Okay? 2 injuries. 2 very good players. To good to very good players in Vierling and Parker Meadows. And the entire thing just falls apart. It's like everybody loses their mind. It's like I'm like the Joker. And that to me is a indictment on roster construction. It's an indictment on, okay, the lone bat that you signed was Gleyber Torres to a 1-year deal who plays second base and is not good defensively. So you have Colt Keith learning a new position at first. So you can expect to some extent he's not going to be that good defensively. Or at least there'll be growing pains. Gleyber Torres, who's not good defensively. Javi Baez. And insert lottery winner. I don't know. Like maybe you throw Torkelson at third. He played some third, but he wasn't very good. That wasn't his primary position. Either way, you're left with basically nobody on your infield being good or being really all that good defensively. Does that mean that sometimes some guys will make good defensive plays? Yes, of course. I'm not saying that Gleyber can't dive and get a ball or that Colt Keith can't identify where a foul is and run and grab it. I'm not saying it can't happen. I'm saying you really didn't get those guys that are going to be in Gold Glove conversations. Not that those guys are easy to come by. And again, maybe Colt Keith develops into that. Maybe, Torkelson finds a home on third base, or your offense is just good enough that you don't care if he sucks. But that's going to be a pretty tough ask when, again, you lose 2 solid pieces of your offense and you're pretty much relying on, the development of Keith and the development of Torkelson and the development of Green and maybe other guys like Wenzel Perez and all these to kind of maintain or at least potentially get better than where they were. And a lot of it's like, and I made this point before, the more kind of concerns and questions you have going into a season with any team where you're like, okay, if this happens, the more time you got to say if, the less likely your season's going to be a success. And I'm not breaking new ground with that, but it's especially true with baseball, where I feel like for years at this point, I have been just hammering. The Tigers have had terrible offenses basically since 2021. We need to get some elite bats. We need to get some veteran bats that actually can produce at a high level to supplant and to support guys like Riley Green, guys like Spencer Torkelson, guys like Colt Keith. Because if you're just going to put it all on their shoulders, look, I would love for nothing more than for Torque to go off and be a 300 hitter and hit 40 bombs, and for Colt Keith to be a 270 with an 800 OPS and be able to play great first base. I would love for nothing more than that. But that's not real life, usually. And look, if I'm wrong, and if the offense is amazing and the team is so much fun to watch, and you got all these young superstar or rather young soon-to-be superstar caliber players, then fun, great. I'm here for it. But I just don't see that happening. And I fear that playoff run, that we kind of got high on our own supply. And I hope I'm wrong, but it's Spencer Torkelson is playing the outfield, man. That did not bode well. Hi, it's me again. If you enjoyed what you just saw, hit the like and subscribe button. We do live shows every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern. Hope to see you there.